Let's face it, kids are getting smarter and smarter every day, and some of them are smarter than their adult counterparts. Humiform is an innovative brand channeling our youth to design and sell t-shirts with a social purpose. And today we are lucky enough to be joined by Megan, the brains behind the operation. Hey Megan, welcome to the podcast. A quick question we like to ask all our guests is, what is a powerful quote that you like to live by?
Gosh, it's an interesting question. I have a quote, but it's not a direct quote. It's kind of a bastardized version of a quote that I read in an article recently. Okay. And it's even if the world were to end tomorrow, I would still plant a tree today. So given that the world is in chaos and sometimes we can feel a bit overwhelmed and like, what is the point of even doing the things we're doing? Yep. I like to think on that quote because I think we should be still planning for the future in the best way we can and setting all the groundwork for what's to come.
Okay. Yeah, that's a fantastic quote, Megan. I guess it ties in perfectly with what we're doing at Humiform. And my next question is, can you tell us a little bit more about Humiform and the motivation behind it? Why did you start the brand?
Yeah, so I started Humiform because I've worked in sustainable fashion now for 7 or 8 years, but I've also worked in education for about a decade. Okay. And I went to the climate strike, the first climate strike that we had, the school strike in September 2018. Yep. And I was really inspired by the students and what they were doing, and I thought, well, what can I do to help amplify and strengthen their voice with the skills that I have, and that's really how Humiform came about. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so this question may be a little bit facetious in some aspects, but have you found working with kids, teenagers, and youth activists better than working with some not so easy to deal with adults?
100%. Young people are so much more fun to work with and so much easier to work with, to be honest. Grown-ups seem to have a lot more baggage and a lot more reasons for why they can't do things.
For sure.
Whereas young people are so motivated. And I've had some absolutely ridiculously amazing conversations with 12-year-olds about democracy and what a privilege it is and all of these like non-violent direct action and all of these incredible things that I don't think I could speak about with most adults, to be honest.
It's quite ironic, isn't it? And well, I guess what are some of the sort of more of the values and messages that you think us adults can learn from kids that are half, 3 times or even a quarter our age? What are some of those values we can take on board, do you reckon?
I guess stay curious.
Yep.
Don't let your ego get in the way of learning new things and admitting you're wrong and changing the way that you're doing things. I think that one of the best things about working with young people is that they're so open to learning new things and questioning what they already know. And I think adults tend to have more fixed views on the world, but I think we should always be learning. We should always be curious about what is going on in the world.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I guess, kids are at that age are a bit more malleable and open to new ideas. And that does make sense that they're open to these new concepts that you're teaching them. And, building on those concepts, with a lot of Humiform tees, they do have very powerful slogans on them. And I guess in general, the explosion of slogan T-shirts is growing quite rapidly. And what do you think of the explosion of these slogan T-shirts that are growing in our society nowadays?
Yeah, I think it's great that people want to wear their values instead of just another pretty thing. Not that pretty things, there's anything wrong with pretty things, but they're wearing things they're choosing things that support and spread awareness of issues that they believe in, which I think is amazing. I do worry, though, that the story behind the majority of these T-shirts, how they were made, doesn't really align with the messages that are doesn't always align.
Yeah, with bit of an oxymoron.
The messages, that are splashed across the T-shirts.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing. Are you able to share some of your favourite slogans that are on the Humiform T-shirts, and they can be past and present?
Yeah, gosh, one of the crowd favourites has been the equal salary for equal work T-shirt that we've had. So it's got 2 animated celery on the front, and it's kind of a pun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Celery instead of salary. So that was really cool. We had a great one that's really quite powerful. As the seas rise, so will we.
Yep.
Plant more trees has been a very popular one, especially in light of recent events.
For sure.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of meaning behind the designs that are on our t-shirts.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. And you kind of touched upon my next question, which builds upon how not all slogan tees are created equally. And what are the different approaches that you've come across?
Yeah, so there are kind of a few ways that people are creating slogan tees. The first way is what we've seen a lot. Now, it's not all slogan tees, but a lot of the tees, like I said, the message, the story behind them doesn't really align with the message that is splashed across. So I came across a brand that was promoting feminist values.
Yep.
And had a lot of feminist slogans on their t-shirts, and I thought, oh, this is great.
Yep.
And then when I went to their website, I could find nothing about how the t-shirts were made. I couldn't find, any information about the fabrics.
Okay.
And when I contacted them, I didn't get any response back. So that was kind of a good indicator that they don't really know the story behind their clothes.
Yeah.
And I think empowering the women wearing the clothes is great, but if you're disregarding the women who made them, it's kind of, it's not really good enough. The Greens last year released some t-shirts in time for the climate strike.
Yep.
Again, I went to their website. You would expect an organisation like the Greens, who really valued the environment and people and all of those things, that you would expect them to have covered their bases and made sure that their t-shirts are made ethically. But again, there was no information on the website. And when I contacted them, I didn't get a response again. So it
seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah. And so it's not just brands that are doing it. It's also organizations that really have important messages to share, but really aren't getting their t-shirts to align with their values. So there's that way. And then Extinction Rebellion is a movement, a pretty popular movement at the minute. And they encourage their rebels, rather than to buy. They have this Instagram account that encourages people not to buy any more fashion.
Okay. Just
don't buy any clothing. And while I think that is part of the solution, I do think that is it's a response that's kind of steeped in a lot of privilege, because if fast fashion were to disappear tomorrow and everybody stopped buying new clothes, the people that would be the most impacted are the garment workers. The brands would be impacted, but it would be those people who are most vulnerable at the bottom of the supply chain. Those are the people that would really suffer. They are relying on the income to survive, basically. They don't have anything extra saved just in case. They really need these jobs. So
they're living paycheck to paycheck.
What we are trying to do with Humiform, we recognise that there is no perfect way to slogan tee, basically. But we strongly believe that the clothes we wear should reflect the world we want to live in. And so we're creating t-shirts that really connect people with the story behind their clothes through the ethical manufacturing by Dorsu in Cambodia. The people that are designing, we want to connect them, their intention behind their designs with the people that are going to buy and wear these clothes. We're really trying to address every part of this, I guess, very complex issue of fashion, creating fashion in the world we live in today. We're definitely not perfect, but gosh, we're trying very hard to make this work.
Yeah, you're doing a fantastic job of it. And look, I think every supply chain is quite difficult, especially when you're dealing with some countries in Asia which aren't as regulated as what we'd like, compared to Australia. And there is, you've got a lot of ghost factories there and a lot of dishonest people. But are you able to, and I know you mentioned before that you work with Dorsu, which is a truly phenomenal brand in an abundance of ways, and no surprise that you work with them. But are you able to, in a way, summarize your supply chain and compare it with some of those brands that you mentioned before that aren't as transparent about it. You're able to sort of give a bit of a comparison to what you're doing that other brands aren't, and explain why that's better. And I know that's a tough question because the supply chain isn't something that you can probably summarize in 30 seconds, but are you able to maybe give some sort of summary on how you're, contributing to a more ethical fashion industry in the supply chain?
Yeah, definitely. So we work with Dosu. I'm very good friends with the founders. I have visited the workshop. I have so much trust. We have a great relationship that is built over many years.
Yep.
A lot of brands don't know who's making their clothes. They don't know the suppliers. They don't know where it's located, really. They've never visited. But yeah, and so they really prioritize in a country where a lot of low-skilled workers are being exploited by the garment factories there.
And
these guys
sorry
are
to interrupt you, Megan. I just want to clarify that Dorsu produces all their products in Cambodia, for those unaware.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, continue.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. So in a country where, there is so much exploitation, these guys are doing everything they can to make sure that they're producing them ethically, and treat their workers fairly and responsibly. So with dignity, it's really quite important. So yeah, and it's not easy for suppliers in these countries to do the right thing, and the system is kind of set up to do the wrong thing, and it makes that easier and cheaper. But these guys are pretty incredible. Over the years, they've faced some immense challenges, and they have dealt with them with such grace and integrity. And they make our clothing from remnant fabrics from the garment factories that are in Cambodia. So garment factories produce sometimes more. Well, garment factories don't actually use all of the fabric that they import. And so Dorsu uses that fabric. So we're using up what already exists rather than creating fabric.
That's fantastic. And I guess just wanted to build on how amazing Dorsu is, and they're one of the brands we have on Stride. And when I was speaking to Hannah,
hello, sorry Jordan, you've dropped out.
Sorry, I just called you Hannah, Megan. That was I've got my phone on Do Not Disturb, and somehow that call came through. Damn, I can't remember what I was about to say. You just said something great about you're talking about Dorsu. Damn, I lost my train of thought.
You were saying Dorsu is a brand that is on Stride, and
I tried to build off how, like you were saying. I'm just trying to. Damn, when I cut this now, it's probably gonna sound. I know you got to go soon, so I'm just gonna quickly mention how to offer maternity paternity leave, and I'm just gonna ask for your plans for the future. So we'll be done in a couple minutes.
All good.
I was trying to think what I was saying. So you were just mentioning. So I want it to sound like it's like a smooth transition, not like it's being cut. So you. So do you remember what you sort of finished with? Am I asking too much now?
What did I finish with?
You're talking about some great stuff about.
I was talking about remnant fabric.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I finished off with.
Okay, I'm just gonna go at 16:45 and just hope for the best. So, and yeah, I said I'll finish this and then I'll ask that last question and I'll let you go for 12 o'clock. Cool.
All good.
And look, Megan, I think they're all great points about Dorsu. They truly are a phenomenal brand. And look, they're one of the brands we have on board at Stride. And one thing that really struck me about Dorsu was when Hannah mentioned to me, and she's one of the co-founders, that they offer maternity and paternity leave to all their employees. And that may not sound as great as paying a living wage, which they do to all their workers, but I think there's things like that really help their workers live a life of dignity outside of the workplace, so they can see their children grow up and be part of the family. So hats off to Dorsu. They really are fantastic. And
they really are.
So well done. And I guess my last question for you, Megan, would be, what are the plans for the future for Humiform? Any new strategies, cool projects coming up? Just let us know what we can expect for 2020 and beyond.
Yeah, right now we're running a competition in collaboration with Planet Arc for National Tree Day, which has been really
Yep.
exciting. We've seen a lot of interest around that. So we're accepting designs around from young people who are under the age of 18, around what trees mean to
Yep.
them. So that's really exciting. We'll have those released soon. Those t-shirts, we'll vote on the designs first, and then we'll be releasing the winning t-shirts. And then, yeah, I'm hoping that we will be running these t-shirt competitions within schools within a couple of terms, given everything kind of normalizes
Yep.
again. But yeah, we're hoping to run the competitions within schools and raise awareness of sustainable and ethical fashion within those institutions, which hopefully will be really cool.
That's fantastic, Megan. Well, look, it sounds like a really exciting future for Humiform. I really appreciate your time today, and yeah, wish you all the best for the future. Thank you so much for listening. It really does mean the world. If you like what you heard, please leave a nice review. And if you have any feedback or want to recommend a guest, and yes, that can include you love yourself, please email me at jordan@stridestore.com.au.